Hello and welcome to a new episode here on Reticuli today. Um, this episode today is probably the most difficult I've made so far. There are a lot of tricky and controversial topics in it, and when I was preparing this video, I was thinking about how I can transport these messages uh, without being accused of racism um, or bullying or whatever. So it's kind of tricky, but this is a topic that is discussed throughout the community, but nobody really gets the facts on the table. And I thought it's time to do it, and yeah, we will see. There's so much to unwrap. I got my notebook, my cards. So it will probably kind of chaotic because there's so much we have to talk about. But the topic is why there will be no disclosure by the government. And this question came up again after the release 01 from the Trump administration, and a lot of people were disappointed about the files that were uh, uh, declassified or released because they were old, and a lot of stuff that's in there is already known to the community. So there is not really brand new stuff and not really the disclosure moment where we can say, okay, this is a cornerstone in the disclosure movement. And I said it, and I will say it again. This is the first administration, the Trump administration, that has published these files. So we shouldn't be ungrateful, and yeah, thank the Trump administration for doing that. But it is not a real disclosure at all. So, and we are talking about why there is, or why there won't be a disclosure by the government without pressure. And in order to do so, I have prepared a disclaimer, and I will read it for you. The following information is presented for educational and historical purposes only. It is not my intention to offend or marginalize any individual or group based on their skin color, religious belief, or cultural background. My goal is to provide data and research findings, allowing every viewer to analyze the information and draw their own conclusions independently. You will know in a few minutes, or in a couple of minutes later in this video, why this disclaimer is necessary. But before we go into further details, there are two main reasons why the governmental disclosure is not happening. There is, first of all, there is the economy and slash power or slash political power, and there is national security. And to be honest, national security is the only reason why I would say national security comes before disclosure to the people, because it's so important to save your own nation. And therefore, I understand why they use this argument to stop disclosure. But I do not accept the first one, and we will come closer or go more in detail to the first one. yes, and to the national security point, I I have no idea how I would react if someone would say, okay, here are the files, these are the facilities, and they would give me the chance to visit those facilities. I'm not sure if I would ever going public with this information, because national security is has the highest priority, even uh, in our will to get disclosure. So let us go into more details about the economy. The economy is based on these four yeah areas. It's patents, it's religion, it's race, and it's shock. So I will tell you more about in detail what I mean with each of these categories. So we start with patents, and this is probably one of the most significant reason why there is no disclosure right now. Okay, now I need my book, my notebook. Okay, there is a as you know, disclosure actually happened at the end of the 19th century in the United States for the American people, with the incident in Michigan. I think it was 1870 or 1880, something like that. This was the first disclosure moment for the American people, because newspapers took it up and made a story of it, and the people then back then saw a saucer, a flying object over Michigan, and it's very well documented in newspapers and historical files. So this is when everything started. Then we go to the 30s, to the 1940s and 50s, where the United States government was able to get in possession of NHI technology. So I know they still deny it, but it's an open book. They got in possession since the early 1930s. So and they got all these technology in the 40s and late 40s and in the 50s, and they are very limited with the processing of getting data out of the technology. So what they had to do is to outsource the the research to universities. They had to outsource the research to companies who had the ability, the manpower, the brain power, and the devices to analyze the objects they had in possession. So what happened is that a lot of technology we got today, internet, semiconductors, radar, infrared, and all that stuff, microchips, is probably based on alien or NHI technology. So if they got all that stuff in the 40s and 50s, and I would like to give you a number. And in the in the 60s. 1963 was a very busy year in the 60s for the US Patent Department, because there were 64,000 patents in application, and the most significant part and the biggest piece of this cake had companies like Lockheed, Grumman, Douglas, Boeing for radar and enemy location, infrared. Yeah, they get also the most patents and for telecommunication, for satellite, for image sensors. And that started in the late 50s when they developed the first microprocessors with inner circuits of condensers. So that was in the late 50s. We had a outcome of new technology within a time span of and patents with a time span of about 7 years. The developments exploded. The number of developments exploded rapidly, and they had a stock worth, and they brought a lot of money into the pockets of those who were holding these patents. And just to give you a number, even today, satellite services, $250 billion a year, semiconductors, $500 billion a year, and Lockheed Martin owns the most patents they own are based on intellectual property, and this is a huge reason for those who are in charge for the earnings, because there is a lot of money behind NHI technology. Even the NH or the UFOs or UAPs sometimes drop metal. It looks like a waste metal. It's not very big. It's kind of a cigarette box like this size. It's dropped, and Gary Nolan has analyzed these material down to a atomic level, and this is the base for patents, and patents are the base to earn a lot of money. So with UFO technology, certain people earn a lot of money, and it's since the 60s, I think we are talking about trillions. So don't underestimate the patents and the benefits from it. So religion. What if people that are told there is a demon, there's a heaven, and there's a hell for decades and centuries, and it's kind of keeping them calm, to give them hope, even in bad times. They could go to church during wars. People always find hope in something very abstract, very irrational, and it's kind of a drug. Religion is kind of a drug, like vodka was used in Eastern Eastern Europe to keep people calm for a long time, and alcohol was used, cheap alcohol was used in Eastern Europe to keep people calm because they were facing a lot of problems, and during communism and socialism, so they had to stay calm, and the government supported the distribution of alcohol. So because they knew they could be sedated by it, and they sedated people don't cause much problem and don't ask many questions. So beside religion, we got pay TV, we got football, baseball, soccer, and we are distracted from actually a lot of stuff that's going on in our world. So what if we tell the people, billions of people, what your belief is based on is actually not true? The demons, the angels, and all the appearances that are described in the Bible are actually very physical, very earthbound, and they have a reason, a scientific reason, and they're absolutely very well to explain. So a lot of people will be shared in their belief, and it will be a huge challenge for every church and every belief to keep people calm and on their side, because I would like to know how they change their narrative. I probably I would say they say these beings are also God childs, and other religions will say they are demons, the personification of demons. So we have to fight them. And the religion as will fall apart as a huge factor to distract people and to calm down people when they face any problems. And the most, I would say, the most difficult category to transport is the race category. So religion and race will or could be canalized and channelized in riots. So if people realize the government were lying to them for many decades, and if they realize what I mean with the category race, we get to it in a minute. This will cause riots, and this will actually endanger their power and their economy, because yeah, I will give you the information as I stated in the disclaimer, and you make your own conclusions. Before we start, I would like to read a quote, and you can guess who said it. Okay, here's a quote. UFOs are real, so-called abductions not real. Okay, UFOs are real, so-called alien abductions not real. You know who said this? It was Admiral Wilson in the Wilson Davis memo. And for everybody who's not familiar uh, with the Wilson Davis memo, it's a memo about a conversation that took place in October 2002, and Admiral Wilson was a former DIA director, and Dr. Eric Davis was a astrophysicist. So they were talking about UFOs and the UFO phenomena, and he wrote it down in a memo. And this is this leak is held for the most relevant cornerstone in the UFO community. So UFOs are real, so-called alien abductions not real. Admiral Davis says, the director of the DIA says, yes, aliens are real, UFOs are real, but alien abductions are not real. And for me, this is either a lie on purpose, or he was someone didn't tell him the truth, so he didn't know he was lying, or he was gaslighting Eric Davis. Because for me, alien abductions are real. If you expand it to mutilations, like cattle mutilations or mammal mutilations, I would say, I think there are about 15 or to 16,000 registered cattle mutilations worldwide since the 60s. Mutilations always occur in the same pattern. You see a removal of partial of the face, of the uterus, of the anus, the vagina, and the eyes. Yes, the eyes are removed also. And there's always the same pattern of injuries, and there's always the same pattern in the aftermath, because if this cattle is dead, no animal is touching these remains for some reason. I made a video of it about it a year ago, I think, and there's explained how the mutilations are processed. But let me go more into details about the mammal mutilations. There are not only cattle that are mutilated, there are also seals and deers and humans, that they're all mutilated in the same kind. So also on humans, they remove the same body parts as they remove from a cow. So the mutilated victims look terrifying. And let me show you a graphic for this. So let me pull it up. Let me enlarge this. So, okay, what we got here is a world map, and there are certain areas colored in red, and these red areas is these areas where most human mutilations occurred. So we got the southern part of Africa, we got the northern part of South America and a big part of Asia. So these are where human mutilations occur most. So why is this important? I would like before we go deeper um, into this, keep that in mind what I just showed you, and we go back 2 steps, right? So, and I will give you some details, and let me see. Okay, it's here. Let me put it back. Yeah. Okay. We got something going on Earth at a certain time. So there was a there was a shift in culture, and I would like to read you some information about this shift. We got domesticated cattle that first appeared in 10,000 years ago. We got domesticated sheep and goats that occurred first time, or they originated 10,000 years ago. Domesticated pigs originated and first appeared 10,000 years ago. We got cats, domesticated cats that first appeared, occurred, originated, whatever, 10,000 years ago. We got agriculture 10,000 years ago. We got maritime navigation for trade 10,000 years ago. When we got the first money it was clay tokens. They used it to trade with. They were made of clay, and you guessed it, it was 10,000 years ago. So why are you telling these details or information? And now is the part where where I only give information and you draw your own conclusion. Okay. White skin appeared, you guessed it, 10,000 years ago. It was a mutation on a gene called SLC24A5. And we got blue eyes. First time appeared 10,000 years ago. We got immune system adaptation. That means better resistance for diseases and infections. When does it start in humanity or in humans? 10,000 years ago. We started to digest starch. That means we could eat what we were harvesting, crops and stuff like that. So that wasn't possible before, obviously. Then we have lactase persistence. That means there is a gene, LCT gene, and with this LCT gene, we were able to digest dairy products. So, and this occurred 10,000 years ago. And yeah, if you look back and first civilizations occurred, it was the Mediterranean area, places like in Iran today, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and yeah. What do you think? Where? Now I told you when it took place. When all these yeah, mutations took place, because science will tell you this is a mutation that occurred because of the settlement, because we were no longer just hunters. We were settling down. We had agriculture. Agriculture, by the way, started 10,000 years ago. Agriculture started, and so we had a lot of um, mutations on our genes that came with the coexistence with animals and other other livestock, and so this is how the science explains this mutations, but they cannot explain why there was white skin, why there were blue eyes, and everything started at the same time. So I show you where it occurred. So it occurred east of the Black Sea. So in eastern parts, it's Caucasus. So you probably have heard about Caucasian race. So everything started, or most of them were I just read, started in Caucasus. So, and if you look on this map, you will find out that if you go south, there is Turkey, there's Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, Iran, and these are all countries that were highly developed 5 to 7,000 years ago. And if you go any further, you will even find Egypt. So if you go south for a couple of 100 kilometers, you will have a highly developed civilization after this occurred 10,000 years ago in the eastern area or region of the Black Sea. So, and then you go north, and you have Germany, Poland, Czechia, and this is the area that was developed much later in terms of civilization, probably 3,000 years later. So if you look back in human history, what would you say were the most developed countries or regions on Earth? Were they with people who had the mutation, the SLC24A5 mutation, means white skin, or was it the black skin? So this is a narrative or a development that could be taken into a narrative, and they are always one of the argument is that whites have always been in power or in charge of most of everything. So now go back. Now we're going back to this card. I told you it's kind of chaotic. So we go back and forth. So the regions here are the current situation of human mutilations, and guess what? Most mutilations, except some there are some people with white color who are mutilated that are only a very few. And if you consider the northern part in Europe and as a as a region where you can probably that is why they report these stuff very accurately. You probably would have most or more human mutilations than we got in other places, but we had got most mutilations in areas where the people don't have this mutation on the skin, so their skin is more dark. And if you go to the Scandinavian countries and Middle European center of Europe and Russia, you have incidents with with an entity that looks almost human, except they have slightly bigger eyes, and there's one group that have smaller eyes, like Asians. So even in Asians, they're separated in SLC24A5 mutation, because we got light skin, bright skin Asians, and darker Asians with darker skin. So, and the region in Asia is with a population of darker skin. What we also have is something that is nobody talks about it anymore, and I was talking about it I think a year ago, and I think the Sean Ryan show took yes, it was Sean Ryan. He was talking about it, and you should see this podcast. I forgot the name of the guest that was there. Was a former, I think, Army veteran who reported about the situation. Obviously, there is a human trafficking going on with some governmental support, and the victims in this human trafficking are people, Asian people with darker skin. And not only that, but they use a back engineered craft to transport the victims of the trafficking from Indonesia to I don't know where. So nobody knows where they take the people from Asia to with back engineered crafts to some place, I don't know, outside Earth, or I don't know where. So, but there is it's highly possible that I don't say which government it is, but there is a possibility that a government is involved in human trafficking, and that is known in the Indonesian region. So they are often, they are often trafficking people after natural disasters. When everything is chaotic, they transport people from this region to a unknown location. So, but there they don't have this mutation, and it seems for me, and this is only for me, and I don't know if you agree. So I'm pretty sure, I'm convinced that the human race is engineered because of many reasons, and after 25 years of research in the phenomena, I come to this conclusion that humans are engineered, and this sounds crazy even for those who are uh, involved and familiar with the UFO phenomena, but I'm pretty convinced it's like that. So, but if you go by the data, you will see that um, the white people with blue eyes are probably fabricated and real according to this data, and the real people don't have this mutation. The real humans don't have this mutation on their SLC24A5 gene. So what do you make of it? I don't know. I draw my own conclusions, and I think there is an agreement, and there's something ruling this world, and this is not the presidents or the politicians that are in charge. There's something more powerful in charge that is much superior with their technology. They are in charge, and maybe they got an agreement humans don't know about, and not to touch any people who belong to their species or whatever. I think it's very difficult, and you might understand why it's very tricky to get a full disclosure. And they always say people are not ready for the truth, and then people from the UFO community say, yeah, we are ready, we can take it, and it's no problem for us. But if it is like I'm giving you, like the information I'm giving you in this video, then it's very, very hard or very difficult for a economy to release this information, because it will cause in chaotic reactions, and probably there will be riots, and the riots will affect the economy, and our daily life breaks down if people know about those revelations. And I understand if people say they're not ready for the truth, because even as a white person, if this is true, what does it mean for white people who are with blue hair, with blonde or white hair and blue eyes? What does it mean for those? They're not really humans, so they are fabricated. And on the other hand, is why are people with who don't have these mutation are often the victim of mutilations? So why they abducted? There is abduction in northern or western civilizations. There are a lot of examples for it, but they typically not end in a mutilation. And if you think about that, the report system in areas like southern Africa is not that like we have in Europe or in the United States or Northern Asia. Then you can estimate that the number of victims is much higher. than it is known. And what's also interesting is the appearance of beings in the part with the red marked area in Southern and Middle America. We saw beings with even up to Texas and California. We see beings, and also Florida. We see beings who are not humanoid, who look more like an insect or like a reptile. People often report incidents with creatures that look like this in this area. I don't say that they are insects or reptiles. Maybe they just look like or resemble a what we would consider as an insect. But it's yeah. Was I think it was Las Vegas. It's Las Vegas incident where you could see this creature behind a fence. I think it's legit, and there was something we don't know, and you don't get these reports from other parts of the world. If you get reports from not from Scandinavia or Europe or Russia, East Europe, you got always the more human-like entities and the smaller guys. So there are often small entities involved in those incidents, and it's something very strange with this pattern of mutilations and incidents with different beings. So after 25 years of research in this phenomena, I really come to the conclusion that there is a fabrication of humans, and this is probably the most controversial and polarizing video. But I think if you want to know the truth, and that is what it's all about, to find the truth, we have to face some inconvenient facts. And it's not easy for both sides, even for those with the mutilation and for those without the mutilations, without the mutations, not mutilation, mutations. It's not easy for both sides, I think. And so let us go. What was okay, I got some numbers here. 1963, 64,000 US spent a significant part. Lockheed Martin, Grumman, Douglas, Boeing, radar, infrared, satellite, enemy recognition, camouflage technology, image sensors. 1985, first computer chips. AT&T, most active year of patents was 1963. Semiconductors and the yearly benefit for those who are involved. The last category is shock. So what if people know they are not evolved directly by monkeys, or they're not born by Adam and Eve? Such a revelation would take everything away. Recreation myths and the evolution we are taught in schools and universities It will be a shift in everything we know about ourselves, and I think this will end in a great shock for many humans if they recognize they are not the top predator on this planet. If they realize we are just ants or maybe small birds, and we are um, we are not the people in charge or in control. We are not the people who are running this planet. This will be a shock to humanity, I think. And there must be a reason why they don't um, give a full disclosure. And as far as we know, the U.S. government or the U.S. military has back engineered some crazy stuff for weapons, and I think Russia and China and India did the same because they were in possession of crafts, and they probably are in interaction with NHI, with non-human intelligences, and maybe they got contracts, and they were always in interaction with people in power. So yeah, this will be a tremendous shock for humanity, and this can cause a breakdown of many societies as we know it. Chaos, anarchy, our protection system with law enforcement could break down, and this is why they say humans are not ready. And if you consider all this information, then that I don't see that everything I say in this video is absolutely true. I say it's most likely possible that it is exactly like that, what I just said. And if it is so, they're right. Many humans, many civilizations are not ready for this truth. They won't be a religion that will catch the people from falling, and there won't be enough pay TV or streaming services, not enough football, baseball, basketball, or whatever to stop people to start thinking about that and reacting to that. And a lot of people will come up and will misuse this information to build new kind of states, new kind of religions, and yeah, a lot of people will lose weight, weight, wealth, and yeah, influence, and yeah, with that in mind, I will leave you with a yeah, with the image of the most registered victims of mutilations. Okay, there's one thing I would like to add to this mutilation topic. When the first mutilations occurred at farms in the Midwest in the United States, the narrative was there is a serial killer that kills cattle like the same in the same pattern again and again. So this is a narrative they spread, although they knew what was going on. And the mutilation is something that cannot be done by humans, because if they cut out the mouth parts and the eyes and the anus and the vagina and the placenta and all the stuff, they cut between cells. So they're not taking a knife or something like that and cut through the tissue. They're cutting between cells so accurately that there is almost no blood. So no human technology is able to do that. And the mutilations did not only appear in the United States, they appeared everywhere. In India, in Russia, in Australia, in New Zealand, in South America, all over the world, in Europe, all over the world, mutilation in the same pattern. And if you still say there is something man-made, you are okay. You don't know what you're talking about, because no human on Earth, no technology is able to do that, and we don't have 10,000s of cases, registered cases of mutilations to different mammals. Even sea animals, mammals are mutilated. So they were washed upon the beach, mutilated, and there is no animal able to do that. There is no human is able to do that. So if you still think this is a man-made problem, you're so wrong. And this is an indication for that there is a lot of truth behind what I told you tonight in this video. So with this information in mind, I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.